So Polkadot, what does it do? People are like, what does Polkadot do? Well, it produces blocks, okay? And it hasn't stopped. And guess what? It's resilient and it's sustained by the community all over the world by these low-cost servers. So that makes it even not only even more resilient, but makes it decentralized, right? Decentralized and resilient, they kind of go hand in hand. So it's unstoppable. And guess what? 6 seconds from now, it'll produce another block. So right now, we have a super resilient platform to build Web3 applications and services on. So that's what Polkadot does at the bare minimum, right? So the other thing that Polkadot can do and has done many times is that it can upgrade itself. So Polkadot was built with a Substrate blockchain framework, a Rust-based blockchain framework. And Substrate was built from day zero with the idea that you can upgrade your blockchain. That you all you have to do to upgrade your blockchain is uh, put in the new Rust code for your new blockchain's application logic and compile it down to WASM, and then throw that WASM on the blockchain storage in the cloud, right? And your blockchain gets updated. But that is kind of risky because, like, the question is who can do that. So that's where you need a governance system, and that's the topic today. You need a body that can make the decisions on behalf of the network, right? This body can be either one account, like a pseudo account, a root privileged account. Uh, Typically, that's frowned upon. Although, usually when you're building a blockchain, you do want to start with that just to make sure you get everything set up on your blockchain. But as soon as possible, you start creating your own governance system, your own DAO for the blockchain, uh, a body, a collective that can help do the decision making with the community. So the more the community is involved, the better it is. So OpenGov is a beautiful, super sophisticated on-chain governance system, and it's the decision-making body for Polkadot. There's this website called Polk Assembly, and I really recommend it. It's a UI that connects to the Polkadot RPC node. It's a really easy way to kind of look at the on-chain data. So, for example, we're looking at OpenGov right now. So, for example, you can see this is Polkadot's treasury. So as of now, it's got roughly this amount in US dollars, uh, in the form of different tokens. So you can see about looks like 25 million dot. Like if I click on details on Polkadot's relay chain, there's about 14 million dot. On Asset Hub, a system parachain of Polkadot, there's a little bit more, and there's other tokens as well. You can see USDC there as well. So this is all has to do with Polkadot's treasury. 14 million dot, that's available. So if I show you a different view, if I go back here to the Polkadot UI, click on governance, I can also see that on-chain data here. And you can see that there's the 14 million. It's what's available. What's spendable is this amount here. So this is the amount that's spendable. And when the treasury spends that, that's according to the spend period. So the spend period for Polkadot is every 24 days. You can see we're nearing that. We're almost there. There's only 2 days and 17 hours until the next spend period kicks off, and this gets used to pay out whatever proposal got approved. The thing is that if all of this does not get spent, then there will be a next burn period, and this amount will be burnt. If all of this gets spent, then this will not get burnt. Usually this gets burnt, that amount of dot. So let's go back here to Poke Assembly. So we have a treasury. That's pretty cool, right? It's an on-chain treasury, and it's got different tokens, which is really cool as well. It wasn't always the use case. It wasn't always the case that we had USDC asset available to us, but now we do. So that means when you go up here and you say, "Hey, I want to create a new treasury proposal. I have this great project idea that I believe it's going to grow the network, grow the Polkadot network, and here are the details, and this is the amount I'm requesting for." So you can actually choose and say, "I want to request the amount in dot," or now you can also say you want USDC. So you can choose which one you want. Let's look at an example here. So there's different tracks in OpenGov. Medium spender, for example, this is a good one. So there's some pretty large projects here for medium spender. So if we take a look at one of these, like for example, let's look at this one, 1383 Ideal Network, posted by Ideal Labs. That's their on-chain account. Most likely that's either a pure proxy or multi-sig representing a team. So let's go in there. And here's the proposal. So it's in the status of deciding. You can see it's a really nice UI. And this is what their proposal is about. So it looks like they want to build this randomness layer on Polkadot. So Polkadot is infrastructure, right? It's like the Web3 platform, the Web3 infrastructure to build services and dApps, Web3 services and dApps. So they want to build a randomness layer. They want to build a Web3 protocol on top of Polkadot. Really, really cool. If you get a chance, read this, read the problem that they're solving and how they plan to tackle it. And you can vote. So this is OpenGov. You can click on cast your vote. It'll cast an on-chain vote. And you can see the community has already been voting. This project is the community is super in favor of this project because it's like a super cool technical project, right? So like this is a reminder for all those people that say like, oh, crypto is a scam. Like, no, it's not. I'm sorry. Like it's like, the internet can be used for good things or bad things. Same thing here, right? Here's an example of like crypto is not a scam. Crypto is freaking cool, right? So I think the community agrees here. You can see that those are in favor and the amount of dot that is not in favor. And then there's some details here for the voting threshold. So that's there as well. So this UI is really, really nice. So you can use this UI to vote if you want to participate. You can also use the Polkadot UI here. Like if I scroll down, I think actually I got to go to referenda. So if I click 1383 medium spender, let's see, 1383 right here. Yep, Ideal Labs, deciding, and I could vote on here as well. So just a different UI, whichever one you prefer. You select your account, A or nay, the amount of dot you want to vote with, and the conviction. So this is actually on-chain logic. So I could vote with like, let's say 10 dot with one conviction. That would lock my dot for 7 days. Or if I really like want to have like twice the voting strength, I could vote with twice the conviction. That would lock my dot for 14 days and so on, right? It's up to you which one you want. And when I click vote, it'll submit an on-chain transaction. So that's a bit about like high level about OpenGov governance. I do want to show you some other things. So for example, uh, when these proposals get created, there are some off-chain components that happen as well. For example, there are discussions that happen out in the open. There's a famous um, YouTube channel here by the Customarian down here where they hop on a call, I believe like every week. It's called a Tempset Governance. And they just like basically like anybody can join this call, right? It's so beautiful that anybody can join. And they just like they go through the proposals and they just like talk about them. And usually the people who the team who created the proposal, they also show up and they discuss like, oh, this is why we created it, this is why we think it's important. So really, really healthy discussion that informs the community and gets you more informed so that you can vote the way that you want to vote. So that exists. It's an off-chain component, but quite useful. The other thing that I want to highlight is that Polkadot's runtime. So up here, you can see this is like the runtime version. Uh, right here. So Polkadot's runtime, remember, it uses Substrate. So runtime is the blockchain's application logic, right? What the blockchain does. So the runtime gets compiled down to WebAssembly. That's what gets uploaded. That's what when you change the blockchain's code, the runtime code, and you want to upgrade the network, that's what you need. You need the WASM. And if we change the Polkadot's runtime and we want to do an upgrade to Polkadot, uh, we can do that. And that has been done many, many times. Polkadot has iterated, has evolved. Even the governance system has evolved. But the runtime itself, Polkadot's runtime, it's not owned by parity. So like, for example, if I go to the Polkadot SDK, right, it's the Polkadot repo, like this is Polkadot, right? Currently, it's owned by the Parity Tech organization. The Parity created Polkadot, right? However, the runtime, the actual blockchain runtime logic. That's, you can see it's here, runtimes. That's owned by the Polkadot Fellowship. Polkadot Fellowship, it's a technical fellowship that is on chain, and we can actually see it, I believe, here, somewhere here. Developers, is it developers, governance? Oh, I believe they moved it to a different parachain, maybe the collectives parachain. We can check, we can check. Let's see. Collectives. So this is a systems parachain for collectives. Let's see if I'm wrong or right. Fellowship. There it is. So yeah, this is a parachain dedicated to on-chain collectives, which is really useful for governance. And you can see this is actually the fellowship. So these are mostly all core engineers. These are developers, software blockchain engineers. They're actually building the protocol, the Polkadot protocol, and you can apply to get into this fellowship. It's got some strong requirements, right? You got to show your contributions, and it's got different on-chain ranks. Like you can see, there's Gav, right? He's rank 7. That's the membership rank, and different ranks have different perks, you could say, and you can read up on that. Really, really interesting stuff. They don't have it's like I don't want to say like they don't have any power. Like they do have power. So the power that they that this collective can have, this fellowship collective can have, is to give like these really really strong indicators to the governance community, to say like to give it to the community and say, hey, we really really believe that this technical upgrade is important. But at the end of the day, it's up to the community to vote and approve that upgrade.